Hi, this is Joseph.
This is David, and welcome to The Definition.
A podcast where we take a topic and explore various perspectives.
Because not everything is black and white.
Exploring the depths beyond the definition, hearing opinions from the street, as well as offer our own 2 cents. Ultimately, our goal is to spark your intrigue.
Be rest assured, it's always going to be real, relatable, and relaxed. You can also expect us to spice up each episode with a hint of our personal experiences.
Let's get started.
I'm happy with that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Definition. Today, we're going to cover an interesting topic, Joseph. We're going to look at cryptocurrency.
Yes, welcome everyone. His name is David. My name is Joseph. And today we're talking about the controversial or the little known world of cryptocurrencies.
Does anybody who claims to know about crypto actually know anything about crypto?
Well, we will learn today. Just for the records, full disclosure, I'm the novice around crypto, and today Dave is going to be our advocate.
I'm the person who dabbled in crypto for half a year and made enough profit to buy a car.
Okay, so let me ask the basic questions before we go into the profits. The basics of cryptocurrency.
The profit is the driver.
Yeah. So, to a novice, what is this cryptocurrency world about?
I suppose, look, we don't have time to deep dive into it, but I think the pro crypto people will try and sell you a concept that it is a way of decentralizing currency away from government control.
Yeah.
So think of this unhackable or uncorruptible method of exchange that no government can control.
Fantastic.
And so in an ideological world, it allows us to exchange wealth and barter with wealth without having interference from governments. And I guess we were talking about earlier in relation to a different topic, like pure economics is often hampered by governmental intervention. So if we can kind of get economics functioning, free market in and of themselves, that's a bit of a utopia if it works.
Fantastic. So maybe you want to share with our audience your crypto journey.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Look, I don't advise anybody officially to invest in crypto because it is extremely volatile.
Yeah.
I think people who claim they know where markets are going in crypto are kind of, even so-called professionals are guessing as well. Historically, we see though that some of the main coins like Bitcoin and stuff, they've gone up. Doesn't mean that it won't crash out.
Yeah. Or keep going up.
But here's an interesting thing about Bitcoin. At the moment, it's still being mined. There's more of it being generated. We're very close to reaching a point where there's no more mining. It reaches a ceiling. Yeah. So think of what has value in this world. It's things that have a ceiling.
A finite amount,
We can't just make any amount of it.
Yeah.
When something becomes scarce commodity, that causes the value to go up.
Now my ears are pricking because now you've got my attention versus the conventional currencies that governments can wake up one morning and
print any amount.
Print to pay their debt.
Get us out of all of our financial troubles. Keep on printing money.
So in a way, then crypto resembles a true natural resource that has a limit in the amount you can produce, and therefore its value can appreciate.
Like once Bitcoin reaches its limit, then at that point you would think that the way it'll go is up in value based on the fact that there's no more of it. It's a finite resource.
Yeah.
That's one theory.
Yeah.
And look, and I'm not saying go out and buy loads of Bitcoin tomorrow. But I think if you scale it back to the fact that the dream or the premise of it is that it's this pure currency. It's also like there's, I think, a lot of banks using XRP already as a ledger for transfers, like official government and banking bodies and stuff. So it has really good, like it's much better than the old bank system which is just based on a server that can be hacked. It's much more secure than any bank you put your money into, in terms of there can't be any fraud around it.
So the thing that for me, when I hear cryptocurrency, is around the concept of adoption. And adoption is not adoption by users, or it's do the established institution begin to adopt cryptocurrency as an everyday medium of exchange? So are governments using it? Can I go to the market and trade in Bitcoin? Can I buy my everyday commodity in Bitcoin? The irony about that theory is, when adoption really kicks off, then you are late into the game.
Yeah.
It's those who get into the game before the adoption that makes the money.
100%.
But I personally, except you tell me otherwise, I don't see governments queuing up in using Bitcoins as a way of settling their national debt or making investments today. I might be wrong. But what's your concept around adoption from established institutions, government bodies?
I think we're seeing it more over the last number of years. But I think, if you would have bought Bitcoin when it was 2% of what it is now, it would have been in a much more volatile place.
Yeah.
But right now you'd be 1,000xing your investment.
Yeah.
So I think some would say that the glory days are over in terms of it being a wealth creator. But that's not, I don't think that has to be its only function. I think wealth creation as it grows in value is great. But even as a medium of exchange, I think governments are probably slow to adopt it because they can't control it.
Absolutely.
So, it's like unless they can get their teeth into it, why would they get into it? Because it's risky for them.
So if I jump back to what you said earlier and explain it seems like its greatest point is also its Achilles heels.
Right.
That it is designed to be the free market best way to exchange value. But that in itself is the reason why the biggest use of value exchange in the world, governments, are not playing it. But I think I did hear there's a government in South America that seems to be on the forefront, or somewhere in the islands of the Caribbean islands, that's really driving Bitcoin. I don't know which it is. But it brings me to the next topic. Twice, shout out to my two friends who tried to bring me into the cryptocurrency world, and twice they failed. I always ask, and I'd ask you, buy crypto or buy gold?
Buy crypto.
Really?
100%.
Tell me why.
Like, gold seems to go up in value during economic unsettled times. So we're in the middle of wars at the moment, and gold is at its highest peak. But gold is just a metal. It's no longer the currency standard. It hasn't been since the 70s. So what is it? It's essentially just this dense metal that people kind of put value to, but it has no value to me. I mean, obviously, as an investment medium, if it goes up in value, you've increased your wealth.
Yeah.
So, and I just don't think, in the traditional investor's mind, it retains its merit and its value. But I think I would almost say cryptocurrency is like the new gold. It's like tomorrow's gold. So like you've already missed out because your Bitcoin was a lot cheaper 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But potentially, and look, and this is not investment advice. We need to put that disclaimer in.
Yeah.
But like, if we go back in time, we have this conversation in 5 years, and Bitcoin's at $500,000 a coin.
Yeah.
You could have 5x your money over a couple of years.
Yeah.
You look back and you go, oh, I wish I put in at least 1,000.
Fair enough. But I think for me, the data point that I would love to see is what is Bitcoin's adoption 10 years ago,
right,
and what is adoption today? Taking 10 areas of our lives and tell me what is the penetration of Bitcoin in those 10 areas, in healthcare, in international transaction. And for me, that would be the great telltale sign if this is really the future. Not necessarily the appreciation in the value, because all that could be gamed. But one thing I can tell you, gold has not seen the reverse in years.
So
it's never dropped in value in years, consistently that I know of. It's always up and up. Sometimes stable, but up and up.
So am I right to assume that if I gave you €1,000 right now and said you've got two options, you either put it into Bitcoin or put it into gold, you're buying gold?
I would buy gold. Historical data tells me I'm safer with gold. And the best way to predict the future is the past. What I don't get is gold has no human behind it trying to make it seem more than what it is.
Right.
For me, I'm skeptical when I hear of a fab, or let me not call it a fab, all respect to those in the crypto world. But when I see people deliberately pushing one new thing, I think I read someone call Bitcoin the biggest Ponzi scheme ever in the world.
Right. Yeah.
You know, also, people have taken advantage of the lack of knowledge around currency around the world and have ripped people off. And they keep ripping people off, not because crypto itself is bad, but it creates an opportunity for those with knowledge and power to rip those without knowledge and power.
Joseph, could I be as brash and potentially insulting to you
Absolutely, go for it.
by actually saying, how is that different to gold? Like, if you call crypto a Ponzi scheme, why could you not call gold a Ponzi scheme? It's effectively this metal, which is to some degree rare, and we've put this value on it, and we base markets on it, and all it is this dumb metal that does nothing. It's kind of shiny and bling, and it looks good around your neck or whatever. But
Fair enough.
you know, you could potentially say, what's the actual value of it?
But yeah, I mean, crypto and gold are two old men standing on the street. One of them is 180 years old and has seen it all, and the other is just a couple of 100 years. So when you look at the two of them and say, to whom would you run for wisdom?
Right.
So gold has history generations before us, and that's why I run. It doesn't say anything about the future of those two.
Yeah.
But if I judge by historical data,
Okay, but do you accept that the blockchain system that makes cryptocurrencies very secure as a kind of means of exchange, do you see merit in that from a kind of global
Absolutely.
economics perspective?
absolutely I do.
And so you're not someone who says it's all a Ponzi scheme. You see value in it as a system, as an infrastructure, but you would just be slow to risk your own money.
I wouldn't be a first mover when
Yeah.
it comes to the crypto industry. The basis or the logic behind its creation, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that, yes, you want to remove the power and influence of certain few individuals and allow the free market scale on it. But in doing so, the man who started Bitcoin is still the man with the most Bitcoin, Satoshi.
Right.
So how free is it when there's still one name with a lot of it?
I mean, my only answer to that, Joseph, is I wish I was the guy who came up with Bitcoin. Like, I mean,
The guy who's still not unknown.
You create a currency,
Yeah.
and then you become exponentially wealthy on the back of it. I mean, it certainly could be seen as a bit of a fraud.
Yeah, but it's the same idea of a Ponzi scheme. Those who get in first,
Right.
First movers advantage, and they are the ones who suck up most of the value.
Yeah.
And they just keep pushing it. What I would say is the standard currency we use
Yeah.
is a failing system. It's a dying system. I will agree. Money, as we know it,
Yeah.
has been structured, is a dying system.
Yeah.
There is the need for an alternative. And who knows? Crypto could be that alternative.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the downside of adopting crypto as a currency is if it's as volatile as it is, it becomes too unstable,
Too risky, yeah.
for people to want to be in that.
And that's the whole adoption story.
Right. But I'll tell you what, if we reach a point with cryptocurrency where it becomes stable and widely adopted, the investment opportunity is gone.
Absolutely.
Because if I invest in dollars right now, it's not going to 10x in, it's just a currency.
True.
So the investment part is you either choose to believe in its success
Take
now
the risk, yeah.
or not. But if you don't buy into it now, it will become a currency which will be stable.
It may become a currency.
Okay, correct. You're right in that. It may become a currency.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting one to watch.
So twice you've said it will 10x its value. And maybe I want to ask the question, has any Bitcoin 10x its value since creation till today?
Oh, so I mean, I bought it 4,000 when it was $4,000. I sold when I doubled to 8,000, and it's at 100,000 now.
Wow.
So like, you do the maths.
Wow, yeah.
I thought I was doing great doubling my portfolio.
And now you kick yourself.
And now, actually, I had a wallet with I had a software wallet with 50 euros worth of Bitcoin on it, which I lost the key to when I changed my phone because it was broken. So Apple replaced the phone, and I didn't back up the wallet. And at the time, I was like, it's only 50 quid, you know.
Yeah.
And now that 50 quid would be worth about $4,000. It's
you
gone.
still can't find the key?
I cannot find the key. So I don't have it. I don't have it.
Wow.
It's the same as saying if you'd invested 50 quid back then,
Yes.
you'd now have $4,000. If you didn't, that 50 quid's gone on lattes and cappuccinos.
But there are also folks who invested it when it was $4,000,
Right.
and today is what, $3,600 or $3,800. It's not always on the way up, is it? It's a function of how far back you invested and how long you waited.
And there's been dips as well.
Yeah.
So like there's been people who've bought in at 80 and it drops to 50 and they freak out because 30% is wiped and they bail,
And they
they pull out and they've lost money. I mean, that's just the story of investment.
Yeah.
But like I think that's a bigger story of like, do you have what it takes to invest? You know, because if I can bring Warren Buffett into a crypto conversation, I know he's not a big fan.
Yeah.
But his whole principle is when the market dips, he's buying more because if he
more,
believes in the product,
Yeah.
then it's an opportunity. It's on sale.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't believe that about crypto. He believes that about stock market.
Yeah.
But essentially, people who really believe in it longer term are like, it's on sale. I'm buying more. And people who are fear-led investors, who are the worst kind of investors, they'll bail because they're, and they'll lose out. You'll lose out when you're not in the market. You're potentially losing out.
So before coming on this, I looked around a few noteworthy individuals that people would listen to, particularly in the tech space, and find and asked about what I asked ChatGPT what their opinion is around Bitcoin. It's interesting to note that most voices are not pro Bitcoin, but there's an explanation. These are voices that today's monetary system favors.
Right.
So it would be difficult for them to speak against what favors them. A very prominent one is Bill Gates, that said it's a hoax, he doesn't believe in it. But at the back of my mind, I say to myself, well, if you're benefiting from the way the system works today, of course you will kick against any alternatives. Right. But in your world in crypto, who is the most credible voice is there a voice that people listen to?
There's no credibility. There's no credibility in crypto because people who say they know what's going to happen, there's no metrics to really guide them.
Yeah.
So if people say, I know this is going to happen in crypto, it discredits them straight away. So those voices that seem to be set up, that they know what's happening, I don't trust them straight away.
Yeah.
Blanket, default, lack of trust.
Yeah.
Why? Because there's no metrics to go on outside of, like, you could see it as a bubble, or you could see it as a system that's either going to fail or work. Let's listen to though. I got some messages in, some opposing views. One person says it's all a scam. In the end, everyone involved will lose. A friend of mine said that to me actually when Bitcoin was at 10% of what it is now. That was years ago.
Yeah.
But
well,
then
maybe it's still the longest running scam, but we never know, right? But we're here to see. We're here to watch.
Here to watch is right. I want to try and convince you to invest, though. By the end of this podcast, I want you to put at least 100 quid into Bitcoin.
Well, if I find loose cash, maybe. But let's.
Another person says, everyone looks back at missed investment opportunities. Bitcoin will be one of those moments where we look back better in than out.
Fair enough.
Do you agree? Are you going to buy?
It is possible that we will look back and regret. It is possible I might be one of those. But I wouldn't lose sleep over it because it also has the 50% chance that it could also just be a total waste of people's time and people might lose their money. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to speak against all those who are in crypto, but I know a couple of people who's got their hand burnt, and you know a couple of people like yourself who've had the advantage. I would say the jury is still out. If it's a Ponzi scheme, if it's a fraud, it's done a very good job of having a long staying power, I must say. And if it is truly the future, maybe I've resigned to the fact that it's already too late to get involved anyway.
I don't think so.
Tell me.
So here's the thing. I think crypto gets bad press because it naturally attracts fraudsters.
Yeah.
Right? So all these companies that set up wallets and exchanges and stuff, and then they end up being fraudulent.
Yeah.
And then the whole company goes down and everyone loses all their... And
Yeah.
so that's damaging. That's not great for what cryptocurrency is, because it seems to attract... Because any wealth creation mechanism attracts fraudsters.
Anything with value will attract the
Always.
counterfeit. Yeah.
Always. And I think that puts a lot of people off.
True.
What was the question you threw at me, though? Oh, yeah, that it's not too late. It's
Yes.
That's not too... Well, look, I mean, here's the thing. Bitcoin is reaching this point where there's a limit to how much Bitcoin can be mined. We're reaching that ceiling quite soon. So in terms of value based on rarity, what happens when something has an absolute ceiling where there cannot be any more? When it becomes a finite amount that no longer creates more.
So, 2 points about that. Yes, in theory, that is true. But if that item, aka Bitcoin, has not reached the right adoption velocity, then it makes no difference if it is rare or if it is in excess. And what I would say as my indicator is I would love to see signs of the velocity of adoption of Bitcoin in our everyday life. That's point number one. Point number two is, so is there a saying that if it reaches its limit, can it still be used as the number one means of exchanging value around the world?
Well, because,
what happens then?
because it's fractional, like same as shares. You don't need to buy one Bitcoin to trade. You can have a millionth of a Bitcoin or a thousandth of a Bitcoin.
So you can keep splitting it.
So you just keep splitting it. So it's worth more and more. The value goes up, maybe, or it goes down. Full disclaimer. But it can be split to any infinite decimal point. So obviously, if it's worth 10 times what it is now, the buying power there would mean that it could be split. It needs to be split more. If I'm paying you for a used phone or I'm no expert. I don't claim to be an expert on it. I know I've never been burnt by it, and actually it's made me money. And actually short trading, you can I'm not saying you can predict where it goes, but historically, if you see that it's low, that a currency is low,
just buy.
Throw a little bit in. It can sit for a couple of months.
Yeah.
It's not some money that I'm going to cry over if I lose it.
Yeah.
And then at some point it has this massive rally. It doubles or triples in value.
Yeah.
You sell it, and then you wait for it to drop again. And then you rebuy it. And so as long as it's not, and I think that's again Warren Buffett's main investment advice when it comes to stocks, and I think it holds true for crypto as well, is don't ever invest like money that you need that you need for your bills next month, because that becomes too much pressure. As long as you're investing amounts that you're happy to lose, which is a good investment advice, full stop, then
the risk is comfortable.
It's comfortable. If I start putting the amount of money into crypto where if it all goes tomorrow, I can't sleep because I'm really upset. That's not worth.
That's not.
In my opinion, that's not worth risking.
So I do have a friend who has the same mentality around playing the lottery. He puts €2 in the lottery every Saturday when he goes to the gas station. It could be the same mentality with investing in crypto. Just small money you could look away from and not worry about in dribs and drabs, right?
So you've opened the can of worms, because I'm really anti-gambling, not because it's an addictive thing, and not because the house always wins. Well, that is actually the reason I hate it, is because the house always wins. And you can obviously say crypto investment is gambling, and I get that. But for me, buying a lottery ticket is just an absolute waste of money, because the odds are against you.
It is interesting that you say so, because the same could apply with apply with crypto.
Sure.
The odds, the house, which is those few people who have the most coins, could be against you. Look, as you say, can I sleep if I burn €2 a month with my lottery ticket? Yes, I can. For the fun of it, I will. I mean, the lad in Cork who won 29 million.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's not the topic of today, but whoever you are, look, I live in Dulik if you're trying to pass by,
But you're always looking for a cup of tea. Pop in for a cup.
But maybe that's a topic of another day. But do you not see it all as all risk?
That's a really interesting conversation, which we don't have time for, which is what's the difference between investment and gambling? and risk. What's high risk, low risk? Because people always want high return with low risk. It doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist, yeah.
High return always comes with high risk.
risk, yes.
You want to have a high return, always seek out the high risk
Yeah.
investment.
Yeah.
And when it comes to shares and stuff, I think day traders are gamblers. Sorry to offend all our day traders, because there's a difference between investing in a company because you believe in the long-term success of the company
Yeah, yeah.
versus
Just moving money around.
kind of just throwing it in and out just to make a quick buck.
yeah.
And look, and people make a living off that. It's fine. But it's a really good question. It's like it's a very grey line.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not black and white. When does investment become gambling?
Gambling,
Because
yeah.
it can.
It can, yeah.
And I learned that once. I got burnt by throwing in quite a substantial amount of money, which I needed in a number of weeks, and I was convinced that a stock would go up, and I threw it in and it went down, and I was sweating because I'd invested more than I
you
should have.
should have, yeah.
And I very quickly realized what I just did was
Gambling, yeah.
I put money back in that stock a year later, and it's still there.
Yeah.
And I'm not gambling now because I believe in the success of the company long term.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to find out for themselves.
What the balance is, yeah.
But I think certainly investing is a good thing.
Yeah.
Gambling is risky and not great. I mean,
Yeah. But I think it's also a play on words. Everything is a gamble.
right.
Everything. If I take my money and buy a piece of land by the highway in County Louth,
Right.
it is a gamble
Right.
that the land will appreciate. And it is a gamble that I could have a terrible neighbor in an industrial area next door and the value could depreciate. Isn't that what gambling is? The uncertainty of what happens next.
I think that could potentially be another conversation.
Absolutely.
Gambling. Gambling. It's like, do we gamble?
Do we gamble every
do we,
day?
Do we
Yeah,
gamble every day
yeah.
without realizing we're gamblers?
Yeah. Look, it's been an interesting topic. As we say, on our podcast is neither black or white. All we try to do is open the interesting parts of a topic and give you the opportunity to dig deep, to find out your opinion, and of course, share your thoughts with us, even though it is after the podcast. We'd like to hear your views, teach us a thing or two, and let's see where the road takes us.
And next time, we're going to deep dive into a topic where we're not afraid of the controversy.
Yep.
We're going to talk about something that's very topical in Ireland at the moment, which is the housing crisis.
Yep.
I know people are very polarized when it comes to that,
Yep.
depending on what side of the coin you're on. So we're gonna have a conversation about that,
Yep.
and hopefully bring some form of balance
Yes.
to that conversation.
Absolutely.
We're not going to try and light fires on both extremes of it.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, we need a bit of sober judgment and reflection.
Yes.
Where are we as a nation?
Totally agree.
What is the housing crisis about?
Yeah.
Why does this group of people feel this way?
Yeah.
Why does another
Who are the
group feel-
players in the entire housing market,
Right.
and what the future holds? It's going to be an interesting topic.
Tune
we
in.
hope you could join us, share your opinions, drop us a note, drop us a voice note or a message. We'll share your opinions and discuss. Again, two gentlemen sharing opinion about things they're passionate about, and our opinions are never black and white. Thank you for listening in, and we will catch you on the next one.
See you next time.